This last set of videos is called Keeping It Together, and our intention is to help you to keep it together. You may have had trouble getting pregnant. You may have watched your partner struggle through a difficult pregnancy or a challenging birth and thought that once that the birth is over, you have crossed the finish line and you are home free. But you should expect postpartum to be challenging. One thing that makes postpartum tricky is that it's entirely new and there aren't many or any experiences like it. The initial stress in keeping a tiny human alive is no joke. There's a steep learning curve, but you will get the hang of it. But lining up your expectations with the fact that postpartum might not be easy will help you manage whatever comes. There are things you can do to plan ahead, and planning ahead will help reduce the anxiety and overwhelm that's really common in this period. What follows in this video are some tips from those that have been through postpartum and lived to tell. What makes this period challenging? As soon as the baby is born, you are a parent, but really it takes years to become a parent. You're basically learning a new skill in real time while you need these skills. They involve becoming attuned to a new person and learning their language, and all of this learning is done in a rhythm and in a time scale that you're likely not used to and have minimal control over. The science of matrescence examines the physical and emotional process of becoming a parent. It suggests that there are brain changes happening to make you a connected parent, and it's happening to everyone who tends to the baby. This process ultimately takes years. One of the implications of the research is that there's no such thing as maternal instinct. The idea of quote unquote maternal instinct came from early studies on rats and birds in the 1950s, but subsequent research that has been verified over the past 50 years suggests that while pregnancy and birth create hormonal conditions that make a birth mother very attentive to a newborn, early in the process, it's the interaction between mother and baby that builds a bond and induces neurological changes related to parenting. And in fact, this bond is created between all caregivers and the baby, including fathers and non biological parents. What can you do to smooth this transition? Well, if you've read enough peer reviewed medical articles, you'll know that researchers love an acronym. So, in that spirit, I have given you an acronym, and the acronym is ENOUGH. In brief, the things that you can focus on to make this transition smoother are expectations, naps, nutrition, and finding help. Expectations, manage them. Naps, you should sleep or encourage your partner to sleep when the baby is sleeping. Nutrition, eating well makes the whole experience run better. And finally, find help. Accept what your community offers. Rely on experts when necessary. Expectations. Taking care of a tiny human is demanding and tricky because you may not have done it before, and it takes a while to figure out your baby's language. Each cry means something different, and you will figure it out. No matter what it looks like on Instagram, it is tricky. Accept the inevitable learning curve. And the second part of expectations is to set a low bar for success. The early months should be a no ambition zone. If you're sleeping and eating and occasionally showering, you are killing it. The baby's only real job is to grow. Whatever you're doing to support that job is a win. The first N in enough is for nap, and this is true for the baby as well as the parents. The baby's used to sleeping in the womb, bound tightly by the uterus in a warm, dark place. Replicate that to the best of your ability. Swaddle the baby tightly in a blanket. Keep the room dark. The baby's used to hearing mom's heartbeat, so sleeping lying on someone is comforting in the beginning. And then for the adults, sleep when the baby is sleeping. Everyone tells you to do it, and nearly everyone I know who went through this period blew that suggestion off, in part because we didn't understand how important sleep was for everything, for healing and sanity. Mood is already elastic at this point with dramatic shifts in your partner's hormones. Do what you can to stabilize yourself, which is to say, sleep. So the second N is for nutrition again, and this is broken out into two pieces. The first is focused on the baby. So you will hear this in the hospital likely, and it is very true. Fed is best. Fed is best. So much emphasis is put on breastfeeding, and that's fantastic if it works out. But breastfeeding has gone in and out of fashion in the last 100 years. You're not damaging your tiny human if they're not breastfed. If you do breastfeed and you're worried about how much the baby is getting, remember that output is correlated to input. A baby's diaper output can indicate how well they are fed and hydrated while breastfeeding. Newborns may only have a few wet diapers, so on days 2 and 3, expect 2 to 4 wet diapers. On day 4, expect 4 to 6 wet diapers. And after the first week, expect at least 6 wet diapers per day with no more than 8 hours between wet diapers. There's a deeper dive into adult nutrition in the postpartum nutrition videos, but keep in mind that your food is so important for healing, and food can be made ahead of time and frozen. Try to set that up before the baby arrives so that you can use what time you would have spent cooking to nap. If people in the community are offering to cook, make sure you give them a list of allergies, likes, and dislikes. The F in enough is for find help. The fact that many people offer to help when you bring a new baby home is a reflection of the fact that those who have been through postpartum know how challenging it can be. So, first off, accept the help if it's offered, which may look like someone to watch the baby while they're sleeping so you can grab a shower or get a break or take a lap around the block or, everyone's favorite, a nap. Secondly, if it's not being offered, find help. It's legit to ask for help when people haven't offered. First of all, use experts when necessary. Call the OB or midwife if you see some of the medical issues that were presented in the postpartum complications videos, or a lactation consultant if you're having trouble with breastfeeding, or a postpartum doula if you just want someone to help you navigate this new time. But beyond those specific issues, because newborns need round the clock care, tending to a newborn is a job for a group of people. So reach out if you can. Everyone could use help in this period. Many mothers have reported that they were surprised by how lonely it can be to take care of a newborn by themselves. One answer to this is to avoid doing it by yourself. Have your partner help, have your friends help, have your family help. Get help, even if it's someone to hang out with or take a walk with when you have the energy for it. And to make the asking easier, it's a good idea to set up a phone list before the baby comes with anyone on it whose help you might require: an OB, a midwife, lactation consultant, postpartum doula, pediatrician, babysitter, anyone you can think of. And importantly, find help.